Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of the video is But Pray Ye That Your Flight Be Not in the Winter. And basically, this is going into Jacob's trouble, right? And that's what's upon us, right? Jacob's trouble is upon us now. Esau, Edom, pursuant to Revelations chapter 12, verse 12, is coming down with great wrath, right, upon the Israelites because he know they have but a short time, right? And his main problems are the Israelites, and basically, the reason why I tell you that is because I do a lot of driving, and I thought about how when it's snowing, they go and they fix the roads so the snow is not on the roads and you're able to travel, right? And the scriptures speak about been trying to go into a city, been able not able to do so. So there's going to be a number of things that's blocking and stopping individuals from traveling to the next city, right? And this Jacob's trouble is everyone's trouble, right? Everyone gonna feel it, right? And ultimately, the government shut down and people not getting paid, and ultimately, things just stopping, the grinding cease, all working things cease. And it's snowing, you're not gonna be able to drive your car nowhere in the snow, so that's for the people that live in areas where it snow a lot. If this thing go down and it's looking like things about to hit the fan, right now, and it starts snowing, you really don't have nowhere to go, because you can't travel in the snow with your car. It's just not going to work. Or your truck, even your truck, you start sliding, the roads to get icy and all of that. So I just want to bring it out so you can feel the Lord Yahweh watching outside, because he brings the weather, right, and all of these things, and it's written here in the scriptures about pray be not uh, in the winter. And that's what we're entering into right now. Just as it seems that we're entering into Jacob's trouble, right? Matthew 24 and 15, perilous times. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. And we're standing under the shadow of the Almighty Yahweh Bashim Shai, right? By returning back to him, researching the righteous acts, right? Reading the Bible, trying to do the laws to the best of our abilities, seeking out the brothers, whether it be going to the camp and trying to join the camp, doing your tights and all of that, whatever we can do, rehearse the righteous acts. It says, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Scriptures talk about be ye as pilgrims in that day, right? In the time of Jacob's trouble, when all this thing is going on, you gotta be moving, moving around. However the Lord guides you, basically. Now, this was talking about 70 AD, but 70 AD is about to happen again because Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, right? They sacked the temple, and now they're going to sack the Israelites, right? So you got to have the Lord on your side and be, moving how he moves you around. It says, let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of the house. Yeah, it's not the time to, try to, I would say, it really depends. You can stock up and say things, you got to move with wisdom, but ultimately it'll be the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua is going to protect you and save you and keep you in those days, not your little storehouse of goodies, But ain't nothing wrong with stocking up a little, something, what's coming, It says, let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Yeah, make sure this is good. So, where's that? All right. Not to let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. Yeah, it's time to go. Once this thing's popping on, it's time to go, basically. Of course, brothers got families and whatnot. They might try to get, two or whatever the case may be, right? It says, and woe unto them that are with child and to them that give suck in those days. Yeah, individuals that have young children, right? And 2/3 ultimately is going to get it the hardest. You 2/3, there's no protection for you. You're not trying to seek the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, while he may be found, right? It says, but pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. Yeah, so, that's the point. It's going to be harder. It's going to be colder, right? You got children, you got to go through the wind. And like I pointed out, the snow, you ain't driving the car nowhere, right? And if you walking, snow is like quicksand sometimes too, it's saint if it's fluffy or whatnot, it'll slow you down. You definitely not going to have your child walking because a little, child, the snow's probably to their knees or whatever the case may be. And it says neither on the Sabbath day. And for this, I just want to bring the point out. You have to do what you got to do. basically, or you're gonna get destroyed, right? You're gonna have to move around even if it's on the Sabbath day. And I want to bring this little part out because even Mattathias, right, with the revolt, that he was having. Let me grab this real quick. It was the Seleucid Empire. They was attacking them on the Sabbath day, and it was against slaughter. And Mattathias said, we got to do what we got to do. We got to attack. We got to defend ourselves on the Sabbath day. All right. Let me so I'm gonna bring that little point out right here. I just started 27. It says, and Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city. Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there, both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them. Right, so the Seleucid Empire was coming after them, right? It says, now when it was told the king's servant and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into the secret places in the wilderness, they pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. And they said unto them, Slakia, and they said unto them, let that which ye have done hereto suffice, come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live. So basically approached them and said, listen, all right, you did enough, come on back, or whatever the case may be. This is what the Edomites were saying. It says, but they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day. So then they gave them the battle with all speed. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid. But said, let us die all in our innocency. Heaven and earth will testify for us that ye put us to death wrongfully. It says, so they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and their children and their cattle to the number of 1,000 people. Now when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore. And one of them said to another, if we all do. Hello? All right. Now, 39. Now when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore. And one of them said to another, if we all do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth. At that time, therefore, they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him. Neither will we die all, as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places. So basically, even if it's on a Sabbath day, you're going to have to do what you got to do and move around and do what you can do. And that's the point. All right. It says in Matthew 24 and 21, for then shall be great tribulation, such as not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor shall ever be. Right. It says, and except those days shall be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So we live in those times now when the days are definitely shortened and things are moving quickly. Right. So I just want to bring that part out right there. So I'll grab these few precepts on basically the cities, being troubled and whatnot. And remember that snow piling up and all of that. So the Lord got a special, if it goes down that way, which it seems like it's, we enter into the winter right now, right? And the government has already shut down and things like that. So if they decide that now is the time, they're going to keep this thing shut or whatever and bring on their order out of chaos, then, the Lord got a special thing happening right now, basically. This second Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. One people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men. That's why you have things like no king's events and things like that, right? Even the riots, the Capitol riots that they had, because the spirit was already brewing, for these things to pop off. And it seems like Trump is that guy. Right, Trump is that cruel Lord, and he's stirring the pot. And every time this man take office, shit just gets shaky. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. You know, even Yahweh Bashim is going to protect his elect, even if it's on the Sabbath day. All right, let me grab this over here. This is Second Ezra chapter 16 and verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a moment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from the wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Yeah, and that's what we're going through right now. People is in la la land, not understanding that the enemy is, has declared war against the tribes, the Israelites, right? And they're coming against them. Hey, but the prophets are here warning you that this is the case. So the warning for those that can hear, right, is going out. It says, behold, vigils shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. And once again, those individuals that go around the earth, clean up the roads, the sidewalks, the train tracks, their airport runways, all these things they keep clean because people clean them. These people is not getting paid, and the world is basically shutting down. Things will start overgrowing. You go into Walmart parking lot with clear weeds and all that. Trees and animals going to be over there eating on the bushes, right? It says the tree shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The animals, the hyenas and bears and lions and all of that. The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men. So that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. Ultimately, pretty much you get the point. We've been going into it. This is the time of Jacob's trouble, right? The beginning stages is going to intensify when we see mass death, right? But, they already dying. These people are getting picked up and swept out somewhere. We don't know where, right? Bodies are turning up on the ocean just like whales, just floating, Shit, they could be sitting in detention centers not eating. Who knows? Famine. So anyway, Lord willing, you edified from the lesson, Shalom, to the hopeful elect, which consists of men, women, and children, Shalom.